Hello?
Let's play a game.
Got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I shot my wife in the stomach with 38.
Why did you do this?
She enticed me and she ridiculed me throughout my lifetime. I'll see if she's alive. She's alive? She's dead. I think she's dead.
Sensational.
Just like a woman.
Time to be professional.
Hello?
Let's play a game.
Okay, this is quite a serious one today. We are in big, how do I say this word? Big trouble. When I say we, I'm talking about humanity on this planet, this earth. We don't seem to like each other in the slightest at all. There are a bunch of things that are going on across the geopolitical spectrum. And I was just sort of putting them down and I'm thinking, holy schmoly. So let's go through them. Let's just get into it. Europe. In Europe, the Ukraine-Russia conflict is raging on. Ukraine is losing around about 2,000 combatants, killed or wounded every day. And Russia is basically scything through their limited defenses, sometimes strong defenses in certain places. In other places, it's as if there's no defenses at all the way along the 600-mile front line. I don't think it can be long until Ukraine surrenders unconditionally, but who knows? Ideology, particularly the Soviet ideology of never giving an inch, who knows? I think there's a longer-term problem for Russia if Ukraine was to surrender rather than Russia taking the whole of Ukraine. And I can't see them taking the whole of Ukraine at all. They've always said, we can't do that. We're not going to do that. There's too much of it. We don't want to do it. But the problem for Russia is going to be the rump that is left is the west of Ukraine. And it will be full of the most rabidly Russophobic, nasty fascists that Ukraine has. And there will be continuous guerrilla attacks forever on the old Ukrainian states, Donetsk, Lugansk, Kherson, Zaporozhye, and whichever other ones that Ukraine might take. I'm not mentioning Crimea because what they've got left won't be able to reach Crimea by going past these 4 states. So they might take Sumy, they might take Kharkov, who knows? I don't know. I doubt it, but who knows? Separately, Separately, news out today. Hello, bro, Joe. News out today. This is about bits inside Ukraine and inside the Ukrainian military that are falling apart. There is a Ukrainian unit on the front line. It demanded that their Colombian mercenaries go on a suicide mission. The Colombians told them where to go. So the Ukrainians took the Colombian leader, their commander, as a prisoner, tied him up, put some blue tape around his legs, around his wrists, and around his eyes. Took him as a prisoner. And so the Colombians then sat back, started talking about it together. They regrouped and they stormed where he was being held, killing all of the Ukrainians that were guarding their leader before they got away with him. Now, as far as I know, they didn't actually get very far because they ran into some Russians. I don't think they will have surrendered, but who knows? But that bit is falling apart. The unity inside Ukraine, inside the Ukrainian military, that has got some major problems. But then there's the unity of the West is falling apart as well. We know that we've got Hungary and Orban, who is basically ripping apart the EU. But you've also got the Slovak Prime Minister, Fico. What Ukraine has done recently is they have basically stopped any oil coming through, I think it's called the Druzhba oil pipeline through Ukraine, going into Hungary and Slovakia. And because they cut it off last week, because the Ukrainians cut it off last week and there was no oil going through, as a consequence, it looks like both Hungary and Slovakia are going to return the favor, so to speak. So the Slovak Prime Minister Fico has said that the Slovak refinery will stop diesel fuel supplies going to Ukraine. I think the Hungarians have done pretty much the same thing. And it will only be turned back on if Kiev resumes transit of the Russian oil. So there's stuff going on. Separately, if Donald Trump is to become president of the United States, there's an Oxford University called Professor Derek White. He believes European countries might refuse to support Ukraine. In his opinion, if he wins, Trump may try to encourage Ukraine to end the war along the front line, leaving Russia with the territories it's already captured. After that, European countries will have a difficult choice. They'll either have to accept a settlement in Russia's favor or support Zelensky. And if they support Zelensky, it will more than likely be without the United States supporting Zelensky. So Europe is likely to go, well, we never liked Ukraine much anyway in the first place. So that was number one. Europe, Ukraine, Russia, all of the big stuff going on there. It's taking up all of the headspace of Europe at the moment. Africa. Okay, we've had Europe. Now we'll go down to Africa. In Mali, Tuareg fighters being helped by Ukraine militants, those that aren't fighting in Ukraine against Russia. But the reason that these Ukraine militants want to be in Mali helping the Tuareg fighters is to fight against the Russian Wagner PMC. And they just killed a load of them. Loads of them. 20 or something. They had a big fight with them. Took them by surprise. Now, this is interesting because Russia doesn't seem that bothered about the Wagner fighters or about defending the Wagner fighters. They are a private military corporation. They are not allowed on Russian soil. They're not allowed to help the Russian army or military. And Russia, basically because of what Prigozhin did, Russia doesn't seem that bothered about Wagner fighters getting annihilated. But Mali itself has struck back. They've done it with their air force, and they've annihilated a bunch of Tuareg. So we've got a load of stuff going on in Africa that is being fomented. I can guarantee that France is involved in this stuff with Mali, with the Tuaregs, fighting against the Malians, along with the United States, the CIA, and whatever. Separately, we've gone through Europe, then Africa. Let's go into the Middle East. Israel. What the hell is going on with Israel? They're fighting against Lebanon, against the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, against Iran, against Iraq, against Yemen, and now against Turkey. Israel is basically killing anyone and anything that moves. They will kill anyone that they want. It doesn't matter that the people that they kill are just defenseless civilians. And in particular for the Gazans, those are defenseless civilians who now have nothing and they've got nowhere to go. The USA is fomenting issues in Iran and continues in Syria and Iraq, refusing to pack up their bases and leave despite having been told to do so. Separately in Israel, there was a Palestinian prisoner who was sent to a hospital. He was sent to a hospital where they found that he had torture injuries to his anus, inflicted while he was a prisoner in an Israeli Defense Force camp, IDF camp, called Sde Tayman. So the Israeli military police went in and arrested those that they perceived were responsible. But the rest of the Sde Tayman camp turned up at the military police barracks and stormed it. So they're sort of fighting with each other. There's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of accusations. But there's a lot of stuff coming out with these Israeli IDF forces, IDF personnel, that they do not perceive these people as human and they can do what the hell they like to them. Which is a bit, I say a bit, but I'm understating it, a bit like the Australian guy with the funny mustache from back in the 1930s, 20s, 30s and 40s. It's very concerning how Israel are dealing with this. We'll come back to Israel later on. In North Africa, just next to Israel, just across the way, you've got Yemen. The Yemen Houthis, they're fighting against the United States, the UK, the EU, anybody that's sending any vessels that is from the West via the Red Sea. The Houthis is bombing those vessels, smashing the whole lot up. Separately, Egypt is refusing to provide safe passage to Gaza refugees, Palestinians, unless they can pay $5,000 or they've been medically evacuated to Egypt by an international charity. What Egypt is then doing is it is refusing to recognize those that they have received as refugees. And that means those people have got no food, no income, no water, no shelter, no help, no prospects, nothing. They might as well be in Gaza. So it's very unclear what's going to go on there. In Asia, we'll move around a bit. We've gone through Europe, Africa, North Africa, Middle East a bit. Let's look at Asia. China continues to be targeted by the United States. That the United States' big issue at the moment, other than Taiwan, which the USA with the EU, Australia, the UK, continuing to cause problems for China around Taiwan. Separately, the USA has got a major problem to do with having lost its economic dominance to China and the amount of arguments that they're having, especially as China has just, I think it might have been yesterday, just brought a new World Trade Organization trade dispute against America. They have termed it exceptionally softly. They don't really want to rattle the cage that much, but the USA response was exceptionally terse, exceptionally nasty. USA really doesn't like to be challenged at all in any way, shape, or form about anything. And instead of responding to the actual subject, they go for ad hominems. They go for the people who are there. It always happens, and it is very, very clear what the USA is doing. Bluff, bluster, bullying, being a piece of shit, basically, the officials for the United States. So that's Asia, Africa, Europe, Middle East. Let's have a look at South America. Venezuela. Venezuela is in turmoil. Many would say courtesy of the United States, the CIA, and the rebirth and parachuting back in of Guaido. There's ongoing riots amidst reports across the West that the opposition actually won 70% of the vote. How they know that, I don't know. But Maduro has crowned himself as the winner. So there's lots of riots. There's lots of riots going on. There's a lot of people saying Maduro has stolen this. He is imposing his autocracy on it. He is the winner. I've got no idea who's right or wrong here, but I don't, under any circumstances, trust the West's propaganda. I'm going to read something from a Telegram channel called The American Majority. Now, every time the word Venezuela is mentioned here, you could change it. You could change it for this one. Here we go.
China, China, China.
You could change it for China with every word that he says for Venezuela here, because this is happening around China as well. You could change it for Iran. You could change it for North Korea. So I'm going to quote this and pick and choose. Whenever I say Venezuela, pick and choose which one of those you think could actually be put in there instead. Which one of those countries could be put instead? This Telegram channel, The American Majority, says, there's a new thing we can all be upset and worried about out there. Venezuela. Just in time, as I've started feeling like my consumer zombie life was beginning to lose meaning again. We can always rely on the US State Department to tell us what to preoccupy our minds with. What fascinates me the most about this whole situation is that all the MAGA, Ultra, Pepe, Giga, Chad, Sigma channels out there have spent the past 4 years telling us all how the US government cannot be trusted, how they lied to us about Ukraine. Such contrarians, aren't they? Now, suddenly, all these channels and all the people affiliated with them started peddling the empire's narrative on Venezuela as if it was a choir. The US State Department lied to us about Vietnam. They lied about Korea. They lied about their nuclear tests. They lied about Kuwait. They lied about Iraq. They lied about Libya. They lied about Syria. They lied about Israel. They lied about Ukraine. They never, ever told the truth. But guys, now they're telling the truth? Seriously? How many times do you need to get duped before you realize those people are incapable of telling the truth. Every time they open their mouths, they lie. If I was a cynical man, I would almost say you, friends, are fake opposition. It wouldn't surprise me. What changed? Is it because Musk tweeted about it? Are you so deep into worshipping oligarchs that you accept everything they say as if it was gospel? Musk demonstrably retweeted fake videos that weren't even from Venezuela, or were of some random protests that have nothing to do with it. And that was enough for you to go, yeah, bro, totally, crypto. I know you people love oligarchs for some reason, but come on, when your preferred oligarch says something, oh, you're so quick to swallow it all. Or was it the CIA-affiliated Edison Research exit poll that convinced you? We're back to what I keep saying. Whatever your preferred party says, you peddle without question. Another thing I see all over the place is all the anecdotal evidence. My wife, friend, whatever, is from Venezuela. Not only is that an appeal to authority, it is also the most trust me, bro argument that I can think of. I've seen the same things in 2022. My friend's from Ukraine and he said Russians are bombing kindergartens. Now those friends no longer exist and all the wives divorced them. Suddenly, everything is about Venezuela. My whole life is now supposed to be about the communist tyrant Maduro. Isn't that strange? What, did we piss away all the strategic petroleum reserves so we need a new source and Maduro is a greedy bastard who doesn't want to share? How do you not see the obvious CIA coup ongoing there? Have you learned nothing from Georgia, Ukraine, or Belarus? Do you not remember Belarus Tikhanovskaya, who, just like Mikado, called for a NATO intervention in her own country? Sounds like an insurrection. Do you not remember all the media storms? Have you forgotten how they propped her up? Does it not remind you of anything? John Bolton literally just told you they're behind it. What else do you need? Again, just like in 2022, people who didn't even know what Venezuela was 3 days ago are now all about that life. But most of all, how is it not clear that it's just another thing to distract you lot from the empire managers who are running our country into the ground? Where do you find so much enthusiasm to talk about the elections in Venezuela while having sham elections here at home? Sometimes it seriously feels like all the work I do is for nothing. You learn nothing. Every time a new current thing is dictated to you, everything is reset and I have to start again. Why can you not connect the dots? How are you incapable of thinking in abstract terms and apply what you've already learned to new situations? Seriously, some dogs can do that. To quote a man, I hope I can call a friend. How is it that the entire world used the internet to educate themselves, but Americans only got dumber? P.S. If you feel like this article does not apply to you, then it doesn't. So that was a post from a Telegram channel called The American Majority. If you are interested in that type of rhetoric, if you're interested in the forthright positions that this Telegram channel offers, go and look for it. It's on Telegram under the Telegram channel name The American Majority. I'm going to present a video now from Venezuela. Now, this is an interesting one. Now, in this video, there's a rather fat, middle-aged, I think he's middle-aged, guy who appears to have been killed in some city in Venezuela. Blood flowing from his temple as he lies on the street floor. And it's been plastered all over the internet. What could be going on?
Oh, este es el gobierno que usted quiere, maldito desgraciado. Huevona. Mataron a este pan aquí. No joda, este es el gobierno. Este es el gobierno que quiere represión. Mamas el huevo, puro.
Who's that? Who's that? Who's that then looking perfectly alright on the back of the motorbike?
Ya va, vete con él, agárrenlo.
With the fake blood on the floor. And the bike behind is the bike that was falling over on the street. It's all propaganda. All of it. Propaganda. People will do anything to make you think something else is happening when it's nothing of the sort. Now, I do know that there are riots and protests going on over there. Talking of riots and protests, I mean, there's plenty of people saying that these riots and protests over there are really happy-go-lucky, nicey sort of things. And that's exactly what the lady in this next video was doing. She was really enjoying the fun protest, singing along. Let's watch the video and see how things panned out for her, shall we? Well, there's a lot of looting going on, while a lot of other people are enjoying a fun protest. Who's screaming? Who's this? Who's this person screaming? I was fighting this. I didn't need this. I worked day and night for this. This is not what Venezuela wants. This is not what I want. What are we? What are we going to eat? What? So, while she was out enjoying the protest, other protesters that she was enjoying it with were ransacking her business, smashing it to shit and looting the place. You were enjoying it. Instead of protecting your business, you decided to go out and protest and join the riots. These are the types of things that you have to think about. So that's a little bit of stuff that you might not have seen going on in South America. Venezuela. There's lots of other stuff going on in South America where the United States is involved and other countries are involved. My country certainly isn't safe from being accused of being a bunch of twats from a government point of view. America itself, the United States of America, it remains in turmoil over the 2020 election result, over the January 6th, 2021 riot at the Capitol. I'll call it a riot. Others might say it was an insurrection. Others might say it was a coup, failed insurrection. Others might say it was a friendly protest. If you would like to compare it to Black Lives Matter, say, they're friendly protests. Talking about insurrections, I don't know whether anybody saw any of the Andrew Wilson against Destiny debate I went for a run listening to some of it. And they just kept shouting at each other, shouting over the top of each other, which was, in some ways, it was quite funny. And Myron Gaines, who was being the host of it or the mediator, he just kept going, oh, well, I mean, time's up for this section, but if you want to carry on, I'll add another 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll carry on. So they just carried on shouting at each other. Destiny defined insurrection in a way that Andrew Wilson proved was no different from just a riot, which seemed to be a strange definition that Destiny had taken, because if you just take the standard definition, which you can find from various dictionaries or from Britannica, it gives you a bit more that it is to do with, it's basically a coup. And I just thought it was really funny that Destiny couldn't work out what it was that he was doing wrong. But there is a push to say that this stuff was an insurrection on the January the 6th, despite the fact nobody has been sent to jail. Lots of people have been sent to jail, but none of them have been sent to jail for insurrection. So you've had the 2020 election result turmoil, which sounds very similar to what's going on in Venezuela. You had the January 6, 2021 riot at the Capitol, which sounds very similar to what's going on in Venezuela. You've got Biden's dementia and his warmongering. You've got the US government Democratic Party lawfare against Trump, which is all getting swept away. You've got Biden now pushing for a new amendment to the Constitution. You've got the assassination attempt on Trump. You've got the border illegal migration policy. And you've got migrants in New York. And of course, anybody that's been watching this knows that New York is very, very, very pro-open borders. Now, this is from a guy called Jameson, and you can find him on Locals, and he is not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody's cup of tea. But here he is sharing somebody else's news video here. And they're talking about what is going on with the migrants in New York. And they're talking to all people from New York, the news media outlets, that you would expect these people would be very happy to have all the migrants coming in, because they want to save all the migrants, open borders and all that. Surely they wouldn't want all of these migrants to sit down in the dusty deserts of Texas and just waste away, would you? So New York can help them.
Migrants from a 4,000-bed shelter nearby fill the sidewalks. They sit on park benches, on stoops and curbs, under the BQE overpass. So many people crowded in here, residents feared.
Now, if you talk about it, you're racist, clearly. They were from Ireland, I'd say the same thing. Sweden, fill in the blank. They're not fitting in. They don't have employment because we don't have railroads to build. Learn to code, right? Remember that? Learn to code, bro. It's not working out. Now, what do you do with them? Well, you can't do anything with them except just take them into your house, I guess. Maybe Eric Adams will take them into the governor's mansion or the mayor's mansion, right? Let them camp out on the lawn, you think?
What was coming.
We have been witnessing the escalation in violence on the street and in the community for months now. We've been pleading with
two fur moms. JD Vance said, cat moms. Yeah, you have been witnessing it because you brought in people from a culture that doesn't assimilate well with ours at a 4,000, right? You jump in one area. They don't assimilate. They just make it little Mogadishu or little Syria or wherever, little Sudan. And these aren't the rock stars of said culture, otherwise they wouldn't have left. I don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that out. An anthropologist. You brought them in. They have nothing.
Now, I've no idea why he referenced African countries. Sudan, Mogadishu. Mogadishu's a city, I think. I don't know. I don't exactly know which country it is. But I don't know why he referenced these people from Africa, and it might be that a lot of them are coming in through the border of Mexico. I've no idea. I don't know. Maybe they're flying in and they're just all getting put into the same place by the New York councillors. I haven't got a clue.
Nothing to do. They demand free stuff. They demand dental care. Story for you there. You don't get it, do you? Dental care? No, you don't. They do. You don't get a free Obama phone. They do. You don't get to stay at the Roosevelt Hotel and demand better food. They do.
The mayor, as we've seen increased violence, that this was going to be inevitable.
And on Sunday night, it came. 2 people were murdered here, a third critically injured just outside one of the 2 adjacent shelters in Clinton Hill. It is a neighborhood now, pleading for help.
Well, it's set up that way, isn't it? You see these people, as they reported, just sitting around, nothing to do. They're bored. We don't know their backgrounds. In these other countries, easy to get IDs. Aren't real unless they're in the system. You don't know. Like if I, excuse me, if you got an apartment, 2 bedrooms, and you showed up and there's 10 people living in your apartment, you don't know who they are. You'd be like, whoa, what are you doing here? You leave my apartment, right? They just came in, started eating your food, laying in your bed, hanging around, smoking all your herb. You'd be pissed off. But somehow this doesn't correlate. It's not the same thing to somehow people said. I don't get it, but I don't have to get it. But this is what you'll have. And these people don't want what Mayor Adams' policies are. They did, right? They don't want it in their neighborhood. They want it in your neighborhood. Maybe it's not in your neighborhood yet, but it will be there.
Residents came together tonight to demand the city provide more protection for them now and move to downsize the 2 enormous and crowded migrant shelters in Clinton Hill.
There is simply no universe where you can cram 4,000 vulnerable people together safely.
This is the same group that wanted to defund the police a day ago. Now they want more protection, right? There you go. Problem, reaction, solution. You see this? They bring them in. They're demanding more policing. They're demanding more cameras in every corner. They're demanding, like Macron, remember that? Internet ID, Nikki Haley, we should have that. Use your real name. You should know. You have to swipe a card to get in. Yet these people don't have to do it, right? They take the poke when they came across. Did they have to do that? No, they did not. You did to keep your job. Noticing something here. There's some animals are better than others, right? Animal farms. Some pigs are more equal than others. You're not equal. Just keep paying the taxes and tax chattel.
Do you believe us now? How many more murders will it take?
This video is responsible for...
Well, it'll take as many as possible.
Do you believe us now? Some wokey, liberal leftist in New York City. Do you believe us now? I wonder what that person was saying 6 months ago. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm gonna stop that one there. If you would like to see more, that is on Jameson's locals channel, jameson.locals.com, or go to locals.com and search for Jameson, Jameson. Remove that. So that was the United States. There's a lot going on in the United States, as well as in Europe and Africa and South America and the Middle East, and China. So we got the Far East as well. We're just at the Olympics 2024 opening ceremony in France, completely debasing Christianity in the name of inclusion, respect, and diversity. How does that work? How do you deliver inclusion, respect, and diversity when you are, by definition, excluding a quarter of the planet, all Christians? You are completely disrespecting their beliefs and their faith. And you are excluding their diversity. Their diversity doesn't matter. You're dehumanizing them. It's like, okay. So that has opened up a lot of wider stuff. And there's a lot of people calling for boycotts to not watch the Olympics. I haven't watched I haven't even watched any of the highlights of anything. I haven't seen any of it. Once I saw that, I just knew, nah, forget it. The Olympics has now gone political. It's debased itself. It is no longer about the actual sports. But what I do find the most interesting, about the Olympics opening ceremony is that none of those men playing women would be allowed to actually compete in the Olympics as women, which I find hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. None of them would be allowed. Yeah, Christians within and of themselves, Brojo, may be diverse, but the fact of being Christians as a diversity aspect or an inclusion aspect was completely lambasted by France. Where else we got? In the UK, illegal migrant crossings, they still keep coming over. They're continuing. There's massive amounts of them, and a load of them die in the water. We've also now got a new communist government and a mainstream media who has just lambasted an extremely peaceful protest by thousands of English folk in London and labelled it as something along the lines of a dangerous insurgent riot after a grand total of 9 people were arrested for probably just drinking too much. You get more people arrested at a local fairground on a Saturday night. In the EU, you've got Latvia, Poland, Lithuania, Finland killing asylum seekers that are entering and asking for refugee status as they've travelled from Africa or from the Middle East through Russia and Belarus. Anybody going through Russia and Belarus, forget it. The EU is not welcoming, and you may claim that you're an asylum seeker. You may be looking for refugee status, but you ain't getting it from those Eastern European countries. Their concepts of friendliness and keeping to the United Nations human rights aspects, they've got a different definition to everybody else. You've got Germany. The United States blew up the Nord Stream pipeline and has killed their manufacturing base. Germany is now a 404 country. It is a rump of a country. It is slowly but surely just withering away. You've got Hungary. The European ministers are telling Hungary to leave the EU and leave NATO, which I find hilarious because there is no such ability for anybody to kick anybody out of NATO. And we'll get to that with Turkey and Israel in a little bit. We've got all of these things going on. So what have I discussed so far? We've discussed Europe, Africa, the Middle East, North Africa, Asia, South America with Venezuela, United States of America, France, UK, Eastern EU, Germany, Hungary. Oh, I might as well mention the Canada Parliament, where it glorified and worshipped a literal Nazi, a literal Schutzstaffel SS fighter from Ukraine that's still alive from World War II. Now, Turkey, in between Russia, Ukraine, the Black Sea, and the Middle East, Turkey's becoming interesting. Erdogan got very, very hot under the collar about an attack in Lebanon by Israel and threatened to invade Israel. And Putin kicked him a bit. He seems to have got involved. told Erdogan in no uncertain terms to back off. Then Israel demanded Turkey get kicked out of NATO. So their finance minister, Katz, have I got a picture of this guy? I meant to have a picture of him somewhere. Maybe I've screwed up my stuff somewhere. I was supposed to have a picture of those two together. So the finance minister, or FM, it might be foreign minister, FM, Katz. The Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, MFA, will continue to seek Turkey's withdrawal from NATO, Foreign Minister Katz said. But there isn't any part of NATO's stuff that allows a member to be kicked out, you moron. The ministry sent a corresponding directive to all Israeli missions. Diplomats will have to put pressure on local governments to condemn Turkey and speak out in favor of its exclusion from NATO. Hasn't he read the NATO documents? The plonker. The pretext should be that Ankara has grossly violated NATO's basic principles by threatening to invade a democratic and Western country without any provocation. Western? Western country? Since when was Israel a Western country? I'm going to accept that it stretches to democratic, but I've no idea how many people within Israel are actually excluded from voting. So Katz said, Turkey, where Hamas is headquarters, has joined the Iranian axis of evil, along with Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis in Yemen. I call on all NATO members to immediately withdraw Turkey from the alliance. They can't withdraw them, Monsieur Katz. But I do like the fact that in one small sentence, he managed to label Turkey as being completely alongside Hamas, Iran, the axis of evil, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. I'm surprised they didn't get Syria in there as well. But now Israel has bombed another residential area in central Beirut. This was either last night or today. In a failed attempt to take out one single Hezbollah commander, Fuad Shukar. What they did achieve in doing is knocking down a load of residential flats and killing or injuring at least 60 defenseless innocent civilians. Now, having done that, President Putin seems to be very quiet. And I don't think Erdogan will be. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. Let's see. Let's share this. BRICS officially announces a financial system similar to SWIFT. So that is either today or very recently. They have announced it. They have announced their parallel replacement system to SWIFT, which will change the economic outlook of this planet. The US hegemony based on controlling international trade and the petrodollar and all of that, it's fast disappearing. So it's basically damn it. Let me see. I have something interesting here. I was just going to end, but there was something that I wanted to show you. Okay. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Move that over there. Move that to there. All right. So let me present this. This is really quite interesting one. Alexander Stubb, the Finnish president. Back in May 10th, 2024, he determined that he could stand behind all the other strong people because this guy is obviously, he was obviously bullied at school and never had anybody that could help him. So as soon as he gets himself into power and he's got a bunch of friends, he can stand behind them and start squawking. Squawk, 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 squawk. Finnish President Alexander Stubb said Ukraine's only path to peace was through continued fighting, suggesting a settlement to the conflict could begin next year. This was only 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago. What a squawking little piece of shit. The path to peace in Ukraine lies through the battlefield. Oh, but yesterday, Finnish President Stubb calls for speedy negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. In other words, a diplomatic solution. Hang on. 2.5 months ago, you said, fight, 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 fight. You tried to do a Donald Trump before Donald Trump had even done it. Fight, fight, fight. You tried to be a big guy and you failed. You failed fucking miserably. You pathetic, stupid, whining, squawking piece of trash. Anyhow, I think about that. That pretty much does it. It is funny how all the squawking comes from the West. We do lots of squawking. Then we get our big bad bully, the United States, to go and do a load of shit, and we stand behind and lob bricks. We throw bricks over the shoulders of the Americans while hiding behind them, going, aha, our friend's bigger than yours. Our big bully's bigger than yours. We can do what we like. We can pretend we're big and hard because we've got America supporting us. So all the bad shit comes from the West and Israel. Meanwhile, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, they just get on with it. They just do their shit and let the West squawk, complain about what they're doing. And they don't have to care now. They've all got a load of sanctions on them, and they're all now working together, along with 60% of the rest of the earth, all working with them. And all this bullying and attempted coercion and demands by the West will all fall apart. So that is the end of this stream. I'll have a quick look at who's been saying what. Rojo said hi, and then he said Mercury goes officially retrograde from August the 4th to August the 27th. Crash? I have no idea what the hell you're talking about, Rojo. I don't know if you're talking about the planet or about a crypto or maybe the metal, the liquid metal as a commodity. I haven't got a clue. Sandy says they lied. They always lie, Sandy. They always lie. And the world is going to end. Yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't end while I was still alive. Not news. Yes, propaganda. What's up, Ironic? Are all coups created equal? It depends whether they're successful or not. Or whether they're temporarily successful and then somebody comes in and kicks the ass of the coups. I'm not sure there's such a word as coups. Would it be coopers? The coupists? I've no idea. Sandy says nothing is created equal, not even coups. Coup. And Brojo says Christians are the most diverse. Right then, I've been going for 57 minutes. It's time to end. Thank you very much, everybody. And I will say...
And we say bye-bye.
Got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty. I have a sense of urgency, a message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with. Now they looking nervously, and I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better. See, I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet
I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yeah, I'ma do it my way. Yeah, I'ma do it my way.
I shot my wife in the stomach with 38.
Why did you do this?
She enticed me and she ridiculed me throughout my lifetime. I'll see if she's alive. You alive? Yeah. I think she's dead.
Just like a woman.
Things that men do to upset women.
Breathe. Just stop it. We don't like it. It pisses us off. Stop breathing, okay?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Say goodbye.